Hey folks, imagine landing your dream job, only to realize within weeks that you can't be yourself there. The lights are too bright, the noise is overwhelming, communication is tough to figure out or navigate, and despite the company's neurodiversity hiring initiative, you're made to feel like a checkbox, not a colleague. Today on Neurodifference, we're asking, is neurodiversity really welcome in today's workplaces? Or are we just being included on paper, not in practice? I'm Rhys Jenkins, and in this episode, we'll explore the gap between inclusion rhetoric and lived experience, and what workplaces need to do if they truly want to support neurodivergent people. I'm going to start by taking a closer look at the big picture behind those diversity hiring claims. Unemployment is a massive and often overlooked part of this picture. According to the Office for National Statistics, only 29% of autistic adults in the UK are in any form of paid employment, compared to around 53% of disabled people generally and over 80% of the general population. From that, I can see those who are autistic and disabled are underrepresented in the workplace. Similar patterns exist for other neurodivergent groups. Individuals with ADHD, dyslexia, and dyspraxia also face higher than average unemployment or underemployment due to workplace stigma, rigid recruitment processes, and lack of support. If you belong to any of these neurodivergent groups, I encourage you to put in at the comment section any stats that you know of. There are agencies and programs across the UK that aim to bridge this gap. Examples include Auticon, a social enterprise that employs autistic consultants in tech roles, and Genius Within, which provides coaching and workplace strategy support for neurodivergent adults. DFN Project Search also runs supported internships for young people with learning disabilities and autism. We'll be looking for more examples of organizations that help get autistic people into employment, and we'll look to showcase those on Neurodifference in future podcasts. These organizations have shown what's possible when support is tailored and stigma is challenged. Auticon, for example, has had success in creating structured, sensory-friendly environments, but even they report challenges when clients lack understanding or flexibility. Understanding how an autistic person functions within a workplace is complicated but possible. Similarly, many participants in supported programs thrive while in them, but face difficulty transitioning into traditional work environments afterwards. So while these initiatives are promising, the wider employment landscape still has a long way to go. In fact, some neurodivergent people in various regions, including the UK and internationally, have expressed concern that these programs often prioritize voluntary or temporary roles with little opportunity for progression. There is growing discussion around the issue of being placed into cycles of unpaid experience or being highlighted as success stories without receiving meaningful, long-term support to build sustainable careers. But this doesn't mean the agencies aren't trying. Many do excellent, values-led work, but it does mean that success is uneven and outcomes vary widely depending on the support staff, country, and the willingness of employers to follow through on inclusion commitments. These schemes highlight what's possible, but also how fragile progress can be when the broader system still resists change. And for me, it raises a very real question. If your organization claims to value innovation, resilience, or creative thinking, then hiring neurodivergent talent isn't optional. It's essential. It's also important to recognize that not all neurodivergent people experience these systems in the same way. Race, gender identity, socio-economic background, and language can all shape how someone is treated and whether their needs are recognized. Inclusion without intersectionality risks helping some while leaving others behind. And I cannot stress this enough, that for a podcast like Neurodifference, which aims to reach and represent neurodivergent voices worldwide, it's important to remember that workplace inclusion challenges across borders, and so must our solutions. Workplaces today love to talk about diversity. It's on their websites, in their job ads, on their LinkedIn posts. And more companies than ever are launching neurodiversity at work programs. But here's the uncomfortable truth. A lot of it is performative. Neurodivergent people are being recruited, but not retained. Welcomed in, but not supported. Celebrated in April, ignored the rest of the year. According to the 2023 UK government-backed report by the CIPD, the UK's professional body for HR and people development, only 10% of HR professionals said their organisations included neurodiversity in their people management practices. And research by Birkbeck in the University of London, a leading UK university focused on part-time and adult learners, shows that over 70% of autistic adults in the UK are unemployed or underemployed, one of the highest rates of exclusion from the workforce of any disability group. We need training present in management sectors. Only then can companies learn how to retain, not just welcome in, neurodiverse people. Many autistic, ADHD, dyslexic, and other neurodivergent employees report feeling misunderstood, unsupported, and pressured to mask. Instead of adapting the workplace to support different ways of thinking and processing, the expectation is still fit in or burn out. I would now like to go into examples of the workplace getting it wrong. There are patterns that show up again and again. Open plan offices that are overwhelming and loud, very overwhelming sensory-wise. Fast-paced communication with little processing time can be very difficult for an autistic person to process. A culture of unspoken rules, small talk, and constant social interaction. I have experienced some of this firsthand, and it is a topic that I look forward to going into in a future podcast. These environments penalize neurodivergent minds for being different, not for being unproductive. On top of that, many neurodivergent employees take on invisible labor, such as educating colleagues, advocating for basic adjustments, or building their own systems, without recognition or support. This emotional and cognitive energy task is rarely acknowledged, yet it often contributes to burnout or withdrawal from the workforce. And let's be honest, a lot of so-called accommodations require disclosure and medical evidence, something many are understandably hesitant to provide. Plus, there's often no training for managers, so even when neurodiverse staff do speak up, they're met with confusion or even hostility. So what would an actually inclusive workplace look like? And again, this is another topic that I look forward to exploring in future podcasts. Flexible environments, quiet spaces, noise-cancelling headphones, remote or hybrid working options can enable an autistic person or a neurodiverse person to recharge in a relaxed environment. Multiple communication styles, written meetings, options to contribute asynchronously. I believe I got that right. Written meetings, I can't stress enough how helpful that would be for me personally. I'm a very visual learner. I learn by reading and seeing images. That's how I like to learn. Written meetings would very, very much help me with that. Neurodiversity-led training, not just about neurodiverse people, but by neurodiverse people. Support without medical gatekeeping. Accommodations based on needs, not paperwork. Performance evaluations based on output, not personality. Cultures that values difference, not just tolerance, but curiosity and adaptation. Most importantly, neurodivergent voices should be part of the decision-making behind these options. Inclusion shouldn't be top-down, it should be co-created, with neurodivergent voices shaping policy and culture from the start. I'd like to talk a little bit now about tokenism. It's easy for a company to post during Autism Acceptance Month or hire one neurodiverse person into a junior role. Autistic adults continue to face some of the most severe employment inequalities. Only about 3 in 10 are in paid work, a rate significantly lower than both non-disabled people and other disabled groups. And the problem isn't just about getting a job, it's about getting the right job with the right support. Again, potential topic for a future podcast. Autistic candidates are often filtered out by recruitment processes that favor fast talkers or social ease. And even when they're hired, they may be placed in roles far below their capabilities. If you have personal experience of this, please reach out in the comments or on our social media pages on Instagram or Facebook. But the landscape is shifting. There's growing awareness that inclusive hiring isn't charity, it's smart business. More employers are recognizing the need to create work environments where autistic individuals can not only get in the door, but actually thrive. But real change isn't about PR, it's about policy, practice, and power. I encourage you to ask, are neurodivergent people only being hired into roles shaped by neurotypical expectations? Are neurodiverse employees promoted? Are they safe to disclose that they're neurodiverse? True transformation means changing systems to accommodate individuals, not just bringing those people in to cope with them. Companies that do this well don't just accommodate difference, they build inclusive systems. A 2022 Deloitte study found that companies with inclusive cultures are 6 times more likely to be innovative and twice as likely to meet or exceed financial goals. The value of neurodiversity isn't just ethical, it's strategic. They understand that neurodivergent minds bring creativity, pattern recognition, innovation, and alternative thinking. But we can't unlock that potential if people are forced to mask, apologize, or burn out just to stay employed. If you're a manager, HR lead, or just someone who wants to do better, ask yourself, does my organization offer adjustments before someone asks? Is our interview process accessible? Do we train line managers on neurodiversity? I know many workplaces within Swansea and South Wales where frontline staff receive training in disabilities and neurodiversity. Are our job descriptions biased towards extroversion or ambiguity? Do our values show up in the lived experience of our staff? I would also consider whether your company's culture is one where neurodivergent people thrive in instead of struggle. Neurodiverse in work is more than just a buzzword. It's a way for your organization to succeed. If you're neurodivergent and working in a space that doesn't understand you, you are not the problem. And if you're an employer who wants to do better, start by listening, hiring inclusively, and being open to doing things differently. Thanks for listening to Neurodifference. If this episode resonated with you, share it, rate it, and send us your thoughts. We'd love to hear what topics you'd want us to explore next. DM us or drop us a comment. Until next time, always remember, difference isn't less, and be kind. Do that, and you'll always make a positive neurodifference in the world.